there who
I have always wanted to do this. I want to take you guys on a tour of my hometown in Kirkland. Let's go. So what's kind of super cool about our office though is we're basically in downtown Kirkland. So all of these restaurants at our fingertips. So I have always wanted to work down here, and it's not like this big metropolis area, right? So there's restaurants, there's boutiques, there's galleries. That's kind of what Kirkland's known for, but I want to take you guys kind of around downtown Kirkland real quick. So it's changing a lot. Like even like here on the left, this bank has been here forever, right? It's my old bank that I used to go to, and some developer bought it and they're gonna turn into like a multi-use like restaurants or shops and place to live above it. Right here on the corner, again, what you'll see in downtown Kirkland is there are a gazillion coffee shops because we live in Washington, and almost every corner. So this one's called Zoka. If I look to the right, Colby, over there, Cafe Ladro. If I look straight across here, Starbucks. So within, what is that? 50 feet any given way, there's a coffee shop. This is probably my favorite street in all of Kirkland. It's called Park Lane. I can't figure out, there's a little boutique here on the corner that changes every year, but everything else, this is where there's workout studios, F45 here on the left if you like the personal training stuff, and then there's restaurants. And you can see, I don't have to go through everything. There's Italian, there's Mexican, there's fancy, there's dumplings, and of course, another coffee shop. I forgot about Throughline. So this coffee shop's super cool. They actually, in the back, the guy, his name's Adam, he roasts beans locally. And so you know you're going in there, it's not Starbucks. They're actually roasting the beans in the back there. And if you go straight through Park Lane, right, all this stuff's brand new. See all these like apartments? So people who, like, they're not ready to buy a house or just want to live in the middle of everything. This used to be like an antique gallery mall when I was growing up, and now it's just like, I don't want to say metropolis, but it's this awesome area to live if you're kind of want to live in that if you're young and single. Right here, we can't drive up here, it's called Lee Johnson Field. This is where the high school players play baseball, and it is such a cool area.
Okay, pause. So Jason is showing you some of Kirkland, but he's a big picture guy. I kind of want to get into the details. As a mom, the matriarchy of our family, when choosing where to live, it's also important to know where some of those locations are where you can do things with your family, like parks and restaurants and all of that kind of stuff. So as Jason showed you downtown Kirkland, there's another big piece of it, and that's Peter Kirk Park, which has a big baseball field. They actually host like the World Series of Little League there or whatever. A big playground for kids, a skate park. There's a community pool that the public can go to. And this park is basically the DNA of Kirkland. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's had a memory here and has spent time here with their families at one point or another.
So there's so much to do downtown Kirkland. We're gonna come up here, take a right on Kirkland Ave. I wanna take you guys next from downtown Kirkland. Oh, you know what? Before we leave downtown Kirkland, let's go down to the marina. Again, the Heathman, this is funny story. The Heathman Hotel was pretty new about 15 years ago. And even though I live right up the street, when I was on The Bachelorette, they had me stay at that hotel and we did a date there right in my hometown. So back then that was kind of this new up and coming boutique hotel with a great restaurant on the bottom. But that's the first time I ever stayed in a hotel in downtown Kirkland. It was a little bit lighter, had a little bit more hair. And you know what? The difference between me now and then, I was talking to my daughter last night, and she's like, you know what, Daddy? You got a dad bod. Back on The Bachelorette, even though I was a dad, I didn't quite have a dad bod quite yet because I was working my butt off to get in shape for that thing. But I did learn that my daughter is very aware of my dad bod.
We are driving up to Lake Washington High School right now, which is the high school that most of Kirkland feeds into. Lake Washington School District is the bigger umbrella that includes Redmond, Juanita, very, very well-renowned school district, which is another reason why so many people want to move to Kirkland, driving those house prices up. Lake Washington High School is actually where Jason went to school. Ty went to high school there, and Riley will ultimately go to school there. We've loved this school so much. Ty was super involved in the athletic program doing basketball. Riley does cheer through this high school. It's just a great community of people and families and parents and kids, and it's safe, and I mean, nothing but good things to say about it. And so again, that's just another reason why people love living in Kirkland.
I actually wanted to buy this at one point. It's like a little tiny burger restaurant. So if you're coming across or you get off a boat or you're out for the day, you can go up here. It's got great burgers, beer, and whiskey. So here we go. This is probably the most well-known park in downtown Kirkland, or maybe even in Kirkland in general. It's called Marina Park. We film here all the time because it's such a cool park. But my favorite memory of this park is they've got this grass, kind of this little grass area right in the middle here. And there's a sidewalk or a cement path that goes around it. This is where my son Ty learned how to walk. We would take his stroller and we'd flip it around, and he started pushing his stroller from like the table side. And slowly over the months, this is where he learned how to walk. You're gonna see the marina with all the boats. But then just to the left of it is they have all these old condos. So these are condo buildings, not apartments, where you could live right on top of the water. I mean, like right at the end here, you're probably 10, 15 feet above the water. I've got tons of friends that live here and they absolutely love it.
All right, now we are driving up 85th Street, which is what we call the Great Divide, because on one side, the south side, it's South Rose Hill, and then North Rose Hill is located on the north side of 85th Street. Even though they are just a street apart, home prices greatly vary from South Rose Hill to North Rose Hill. The reason for that being South Rose Hill is closer to Bellevue. The closer to Bellevue you get, the higher the home prices. Also, the walkability to the schools is phenomenal in South Rose Hill because the high school is located there. The elementary school and middle school are centrally located, so that walkability just adds convenience, adding to the home prices again. It's also, much closer to Microsoft, and then being closer to Bellevue, you've got Amazon and Google and whatnot. The 85th Street is kind of the hub of Rose Hill because it's where we have our grocery store and our Starbucks and all the fast food restaurants. So this is how we get to the highway to get anywhere else. So 85th Street is a major factor and piece for both South and North Rose Hill.
Okay, now we're just about to leave downtown Kirkland. This is kind of like the little, as we exit, a couple more restaurants. One of the oldest restaurants in downtown Kirkland is right here, up here on the right. It's called Anthony's Restaurant. It has great seafood, really cool vibe, and an awesome happy hour, and it's right on the water. Okay, so now we are leaving the downtown Kirkland area. And what I wanted you guys to see, so right along the right here is kind of similar to where I showed you the condos back there. So right along the right is where all these fancy, expensive $10 to $20 million houses are. So if you look up here, like a house like this is probably $12 to $15 million. You're right on the water. You've got an awesome dock. You've got your boat. Granted, it's not Bill Gates value in Bellevue, but you can live in downtown Kirkland. And again, it is very expensive, but it is beautiful. So right along the marina, the park here, see everybody walking. In the summertime, right now you can see it's wintertime, so it's pretty quiet. You can see downtown Seattle in the distance. But in the summertime, this place is packed. I used to go on runs here every single morning. So you can run along this sidewalk all the way to Bellevue. And it's about, it's probably a mile and a half from here to the edge of Bellevue. But all of these homes on the right-hand side here, some of them are condos that are literally $3 million. But some of these homes are absolutely fantastic. And you can live in Kirkland. Again, like I said, it's $15 million would be really expensive for downtown Kirkland, but it's about half the price of what you'll pay in Bellevue.
We're now driving through North Rose Hill, which is where the Mesnicks live, and the biggest landmark of North Rose Hill, you ask any resident of this area, is Castle Park. And Castle Park is just that. It's a park that has a play structure that looks like a castle. And every family has been there at one time or another. It's where people make their memories. When the kids are little, that is where they play. I feel like when everyone grows up, they have that nostalgic place that they remember for everyone in Kirkland, it's Castle Park. Even for you, Colby, behind the camera. If you are moving to North Rose Hill, here is a fun little tidbit for you. The best trick-or-treating neighborhood in all of Kirkland is Conifer Ridge. I don't know what it is, but every house decorates their house to the nines, goes crazy. And there are hundreds of thousands of families and kids trick-or-treating through there. And so it just makes for a really, really fun, safe environment to go. So that's your little secret about Rose Hill. If you need somewhere good to go trick-or-treating, come to Conifer Ridge.
So I want to take you guys through what's called Carillon Point. So Carillon Point is a great little area with just a couple of restaurants, workout facilities, little boutiques and whatnot, and a little post office. But this is secretly where Bill Gates has his family office. So Bill Gates may be in the office around here somewhere. I think Melinda Gates had hers here too. So if you ever want to see Bill Gates, this is where he hangs out. And this hotel is awesome. It's called the Woodmark, and they have tons of weddings here. It's right on the water, and randomly, this little turnabout where we're driving through right now, this is where the high school, a couple times a year, does their prom and homecoming pictures. So this place gets packed with 500 students and all their families, but again, right on the water. Since we're in Carillon Point, I thought the next area that I wanted to take you guys is called Houghton. Houghton is one of the more expensive neighborhoods in Kirkland, and that's because it's the first neighborhood over from Bellevue. So everything, if you're buying a home or even living in the Washington area, Bellevue's the center of everything being the most expensive, mostly because that's where Bill Gates lives, that's where all the high rises are, and Houghton is the first city in Kirkland that's right next to Bellevue. It might not look like we're anywhere special right now, but you get some killer views. So I want to take you up the street here, and we won't be able to go up there because we just sold it. And so there's a home here at the top of this hill, and you see how everything's kind of perched up here. So if you can imagine, as we're coming up the hill, what the view would look like behind us if it was a nice clear day. Let's see, that's the house we sold right up there. And that is got the ultimate view. On a clear day, nothing gets better than this. You could be in a high rise in Manhattan, Seattle, Bellevue, San Francisco. But if you can these houses hardly ever come to market. We put this house on the market. It was 2,500 square feet for $4.2 million, and it sold in a day. That's how hard it is to find a home up here with it immaculate with the best view around.
All right, now we are driving through Totem Lake, which is just, I don't know, it's the place that everybody comes to. If you would have seen this area 15 years ago, it was like an old rundown mall, but they've completely rebuilt it, revamped it, and we are full of restaurants and workout places, shopping, good outdoor space to hang out as a community. Jason and my office used to actually be in Totem Lake. Ty used to work at Salt and Straw, which is also right here. Our movie theater is here, super safe, full of just great businesses. Some local, some chain, but Totem Lake this is the place to go when you're in Kirkland.
So the big finale here in Houghton is the massive Google complex. So this was not here when I was growing up, but I don't know when they built this complex, maybe 15 years ago. And this place is massive. I think everybody thinks of Google and Palo Alto in California, but Google actually has three campuses here in Washington. This main one in Houghton is enormous. So when I think about Washington in general being a tech hub, yes, we've got Meta and Amazon, but Google here is a massive employer. And so part of the reason why homes in Houghton and even in Kirkland are so expensive is because of this company here. And we all use it, and it's pretty damn awesome. So leaving Houghton, and so again, part of the draw of Houghton as we come up the street here, it's right off the freeway. Again, easy access to Bellevue in Seattle and all the freeways. So because it makes an easier commute, it's just a little bit more expensive place to live. One of the coolest things I think in Kirkland is this Bridle Trail State Park. And Bridle Trails borders Bellevue and Kirkland, but the state park, when I was a kid, it was so fun because you drive along this road, you either go take nice walks in there, but there's tons of horse trails in there. You'll see up and down the road here, we're on a road called 60th, where all the horses come out of the state park and kind of gallop along the way, which again, living in suburbia, you really don't get to see that often. But right across the state park, I wonder if I can find the road here. Right across from the state park is this. Oh my God. So this is hilarious. Oh, it's closed. The road's closed. So it says Paul Taylor Fields. So when you're really little and you play t-ball, they don't let you on the big kid fields, right? So the first time I took my son, so this is like 15 years ago, to this field, it's right behind the junkyard, the transit station. So you're sitting there as a parent, watching your kid play t-ball, but you gotta plug your nose because there's some crap in the background. In that place, it's so funny because I always wondered why they stuck the little kids there, which makes sense because the fields are terrible, but it's right next to the dump and it will always be a good memory.
Hang it here and you dump it off.
Yeah, I think there's fancier words for this place, but in general, see, it does say transfer station. It's the garbage dump. Transfer station makes it sound so fancy. It's not a transfer station, it's a garbage dump.
So I've been sitting here talking about how, you know, our area in Kirkland is so expensive just because we're close to Bellevue, centrally located to all those big tech companies where people work. But there is affordable spots in Kirkland, and right now we're driving through Finn Hill, which is one of those. So it is still a part of Kirkland. It funnels into Juanita High School, which is still a part of Lake Washington School District. But Finn Hill is the most affordable area in all of Kirkland. Another piece of that is they're starting to build all of these homes that they're calling cottages. So it's a smaller square footage, smaller footprint, still new construction, but they're coming at a lower price point. So that's also been a great option for families who are trying to get into Kirkland, but don't feel like they can afford it. These cottages are giving them a more affordable option. So when we were driving up 85th Street, I was talking about the great divide between South Rose Hill and North Rose Hill. Well, there is another one in Kirkland, and Jason kind of drove through east of Market, which is where the rich live because it's right by the water. Well, I'm going to drive you through west of Market, which is not where the rich live, it's where the wealthy live because they are living right on the water. They're in fancy homes. You can find a waterfront property there for over $10 million. So this is really like the primo real estate in all of Kirkland, west of Market.
To wrap up our tour, I want to take you guys down to Juanita. So Juanita was so far away from where I lived in Kirkland, but now it's such a cool little area. They've got all these condos and apartments, and you know, anywhere there's another Starbucks is a great place to hang out. They've got yoga studios, obviously multiple coffee shops, and tons of places to live. I think my last two assistants that worked for me both lived here in Juanita Village. And it's just a great little safe area. They've got ramen shops, burgers, donuts, fitness. It's just a really, really cool, safe place to live. And it's right across from the waterfront. Oh, here we go. Okay, and as we're turning into kind of the waterfront park here, Spud Fish and Chips. This has been here forever. I don't know what year it was open, but it was definitely here when I moved here in 1984. And it may not look like much, but it's the best fish and chips in Kirkland, maybe the whole state. In the summertime, again, this place is packed. It's called Juanita Beach Park. So they've got farmers markets here in the summer. They've got this awesome dock that surrounds the whole waterfront area. New playground. And it's funny, when I was in college, I was a nanny, male nanny. And I used to take the kids here every single summer. And one summer, these kids were 4 and 6 when I started watching them. And we'd come here probably in the summer time, probably twice a week. And they would always play in the sand, make sand castles and all that kind of stuff. So I brought some fool's gold and I dropped it all, like as they were digging, I would hide it in the sand and they would find it. And every single parent started freaking out because they thought the kids were finding real gold. I never told anybody. Kirkland can be an expensive place to live with Google and the tech hub and everything we talked about. Juanita's a little bit more reasonably priced. It's a little bit further off the freeway. And as you get further away from Bellevue, as I was saying, because Juanita's one of the furthest towns away from Bellevue and Kirkland, it's a little bit less expensive. One last quick view. We're back in downtown Kirkland, and I really hope you enjoyed tagging along with me to tour around Kirkland. I've wanted to do this for a really long time. So if you have any questions about downtown Kirkland or what it's like to live here at all, just let me know. I'm always around.